Marfoogle News live in 3, 2. All right, what is going on, guys? Let's get right into the news. We have, of course, Ukraine apparently ready to play ball. As far as I think of it, I mean, all of this peace junk is absolute trash, but again, they're saying that they're ready to play ball, but Russia keeps striking them and striking them like they've never done before. In fact, they're going after energy infrastructure. They just did massive attacks on Ukraine as, of course, Ukraine is ready to come to the table. It's pretty obvious that this whole peace thing, it's one side or the other. They always come up with something, to not have it happen. Kind of like the mission to the moon. Again, it is, they're saying that there were attacks overnight and over the last few nights. Ukraine is ready to play ball and come to an acceptable deal, but Russia is creating chaos with its attacks, NATO chief says. NATO Secretary Mark Rutte and Volodymyr Zelensky held a joint press conference earlier and both gave statements to the press before taking questions. Of course, they can do this. They can say they're ready to play ball right after an attack like this because the optics of it makes it like, hey, we want peace. But of course, I believe that there are powers way bigger than Zelensky, the, of course, professional dancer, and of course, Mark Rutte, professional puppet. So again, Zelensky said that there must be consequences for Russia's overnight attack on Ukraine, which he said that broke the terms of the temporary energy ceasefire announced by the U.S. last week. He cautioned against partners remaining silent over the strikes. Zelensky said licenses are needed so Europe can adequately protect itself, including for missiles crucial for air defense systems that the U.S. has. We're going to, of course, continue covering this over on news. So if you want the rest of the story, make sure to follow us right after this. Make sure to go check out marfooglenews.com/EMP. Make sure to use the code MARF to get $50 off per device. This is a device that will protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, and generators against any EMP strike from any kind of adversary, including the sun. Again, this will also protect you against a Carrington-level event. It's the same company that's outfitting DHS, DOW, of course, FBI and Air Force, and many more. So make sure to go check it out, marfooglenews.com/EMP. Let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
All right, so first of all, there was flight activity right before Maduro was taken out, and of course now they're putting together that there is very similar flight activity to Cuba from Russia that looks exactly the same. You want to talk about that?
This Russian cargo plane is typically used to transfer military equipment, landed at a military airfield in Havana Sunday night, and it's echoing the same flight pattern seen ahead of the capture of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. The U.S. sanctioned the Ilyushin IL or II-76 operated by the Russian state-linked airline Avicon, Zyotrans, and was tracked landing at San Antonio de los Banos airfield, a Cuban military installation roughly 30 miles south of Havana, according to public flight data. Flight tracking records show that the aircraft stopped in St. Petersburg and Sochi in Russia. Also went on to Mauritania, Africa, and the Dominican Republic. Each landing would have required approval from the host governments, offering a window into which countries are continuing to permit Russian military-linked activity and aviation activity despite the Western sanctions. The same aircraft, the exact same aircraft, was also used to fly into Venezuela and also went to Nicaragua and Cuba in October as the tensions started to build with Caracas and in DC or Trump. So when we started to bring in the military ships at that time. So this plane was seen going in there before that happened. Now this plane is going into Cuba.
So, I don't know how that would also predict what would happen with Cuba, but wouldn't it be crazy if we saw Cuba end up having a regime change while everyone is looking over at Iran? Everybody's paying attention to Ukraine and Russia. All of a sudden, the Cuban leader gets taken out in the middle of the night, just like Maduro did. Now, that is more realistic than the Ayatollah getting taken out the same way. Obviously, many experts have said that Ayatollah will not be taken out the same way that Maduro. It will not be that easy. But at the same time, Maduro, the Russian defenses against the U.S. kind of failed as far as Maduro goes. So, what does Iran have that Venezuela does not? What does Cuba have that Venezuela does not? Probably not much, right? So as far as taking out the leader of Cuba, are we going to see the same kind of thing where a regime change happens overnight and it takes, a couple super soldiers and a freaking sonic gun? We don't know, but we do know there are definitely big moves being made right now. Speaking of which, U.S. military shoots down Iranian drone approaching USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea. Now, there's rumors that this drone was actually attacking it. At the same time, the official narrative says that it was approaching it in an unsafe way. What was the quote, Dex? There was it was approaching in an aggressive way or something. Basically, they said that it was de-escalatory measures taken by U.S. forces operating in international waters. So they popped it down, and they said it aggressively approached a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier with unclear intent.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. So this whole thing. What do you think, Dex? I mean, we're actually shooting down their drones, but it's not like we care. We're ready to declare war.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, if they're going to be flying drones towards our armada, the armada is going to defend itself. We already know we're in, the pre-stages of a high conflict with Iran. So why would they just let that drone continue on if it's, any way, shape, form in a position that can cause harm to the armada? They're going to take it down.
Pictured on screen is the USS Abraham Lincoln. This is the most advanced or one of the best aircraft carriers that we have, and they sent it there. So I mean, like as far as this thing goes, it has some pretty badass defensive systems. So where was this drone? Was it close? Was it just trying to spot them? Was it trying to, and that means that Iran, technically, they kind of know where they're at, right? I mean, you would think that they would have them located if they had a drone near them. Or did the ship knock down the drone when it was way far out and they saw it coming? I don't know, but, we don't know what kind of systems that Iran has. Experts and analysts have said that they're worried that they actually could send a bunch of drones, just overwhelm them with crazy numbers of drones, and take out our ships. That's probably why, too, it's not a smart move to put everything we have there, or in any case, anywhere, right? Especially with drone warfare now. We're going to talk about one of the craziest drones in the world, or planes, I guess. They are talking about a different kind of aircraft carrier. They're talking about an aircraft carrier. China just released their concept for what they say is coming very soon. They of course, others are saying that this could be in the next 20 or 30 years, but they're showing a video of an actual aircraft that is, it's actually spacecraft, sort of, that it's 1,800 feet wide, that it can release jets, unmanned drones out of it, and can launch missiles out of it from orbital space. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about another I told you so. China is now bankrolling Russia. That's kind of obvious, but we'll again go over that in just a moment over on Marfoogle TV. If you want to join us over on our sister channel, make sure to pop over. Again, we'll be over there in just a minute, covering the last 24 hours. See you guys in just a minute. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.